Life choices, they say, comes in many parts. Last week on the show, we discussed life choices and relationships. Tonight, we're looking at life choices, but this time around, when you cannot find yourself a good white-collar job. And so the choice is to start up. How do you start up? What do you know about startup? What are the intricacies of starting up a business, especially in Ghana? Tonight on the show, I have assembled people who are into startups, and they will tell us their stories, how they are doing it, how easy or otherwise it is. And then I'm sure your pen and paper is ready. You can learn a thing or two. Let's take this quick letter from one of our viewers, and then when I come in, I'll introduce my guest and we'll get talking.
Dear Tales, I'm a 25-year-old unemployed graduate and I've been jobless for 3 years now. I've searched for a job for 3 years. It's been fruitless and now I'm at my wit's end. Being jobless in a country like Ghana is not easy, especially for a man, and more so in an economy like ours where the standard of living keeps increasing. Tales. The thing is, I've always strongly believed that after school, I will certainly get a job because I graduated with a first class from the University of Ghana with a Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. During my time in school, I made sure to do internships and had a year of work experience at the end of my undergraduate studies. However, my workplace of national service and at the end of our service maintained none of us, even though I gave in my all. I kept going to work, hoping something positive would yield. But at the end of the 6 months extra service to the organization, I was not employed, not even an allowance. I relied on the tips from my boss. Tales. I have applied to a lot of companies, but have yielded nothing. It's either I'm called for an interview and don't make it, or given the opportunity to intern with the hopes of employment, which never happens. I've turned into a nuisance at home, and I tried engaging in fraud, which nearly backfired, and that got me scared. I want to start up a legitimate business, but I don't know how to. I have always believed strongly that not all of us are born entrepreneurs, telling myself I'm not one. All I have ever wanted is to be employed by a good company and give off my best, not to start up. I want this to change, Tales. How do I go about it, especially when I haven't noticed any talent of mine to use? I'm also scared of the risk. Please help me as to how to go about this.
This is quite emotional. Quite sad, isn't it? My guest tonight, I have Jennifer Akosua-Appiah. She's the founder and CEO of Her Memories GH. Angelina Adjoagui is the owner of Sanguine Crave and Mosaic Events GH. And Anthony Mensah Jamefe is the CEO of Caveman Watches. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening.
Let me take your thoughts on this gentleman's letter, and then we'll look at how it has been for all of you being entrepreneurs in Ghana. Let me start with you, Jenny.
It's sad to be in this country and then you pay like a lot of money to go to school and you are done, there's no job. I think it's time that it should be from the society. You know, when you are young and you tell your mom that, oh, mommy, when I'm done with school, I want to be a hairdresser. In whose house? No, I want you to be a lawyer. I want you to be this. So growing up, you already want to have the white collar job. So if you're home, you're not getting it, still you're hoping to get it. I think that is a problem. If we sit down and realize that, no, let me do something for myself. Let me be my own boss. You can also employ someone.
Angie?
From the story we just read, it's sadder because he's a first class student. And I know for sure that his colleagues that had third class, second class lower, second class upper, they have good jobs. Even if it's not as good, like they have jobs, at least something to sustain them. So it's quite depressing for him because he put in his best and yet still he doesn't have any, like, anything to show for it. Yes. It's just the system we are in. It's more of who you know. If you don't know anyone, then you are just going to be, if you're not creative enough to find something doing for yourself, you will just be idle and then you end up in bad company or something like that. Yeah.
Tony?
Yeah, I think we should...
For a young man and a man,
we should start looking at things from a problem-solving direction. If we develop the attitude of solving problems, we would hardly ever be jobless. Let me put it that way. Because you see,
but I mean, judging from this young man's story, I mean, growing up, he wanted to be an employee.
What I've identified is people who are not problem-solving oriented. They don't make good employees either.
Oh, is it?
So I'm taking it from that direction. If you develop the attitude of solving problems, you can be idle, because we say Africa has a lot of problems. That's why Africa is ripe with opportunities. So we should be cashing in on those problems as entrepreneurs. So usually people who are not problem-solving oriented, they don't make good employees either. So instead of sitting back and looking for a job, there are so many problems around that you could cash in on. So see things from a problem-solving perspective. What are the needs around you? You can easily start a business from there.
How easy, I mean, you are an entrepreneur. How easy is it for someone who's been through school, whose parents have obviously struggled to pay school fees, come out and say, I am identifying a particular need? How easy is it?
Not easy. She mentioned there's a culture that we were born into. We have a handful of careers that have been defined to us as the yardsticks of success. So if you try to stray away from those, it's very hard. Even your parents might be against you. But you know, time is changing. There are careers that people make money out of today that a decade ago you will make a city out of. We have technology, we have social media now, so things that couldn't be careers back then, we have so many opportunities now. So it's not going to be easy, because your parents are coming from a generation that was back then without these opportunities now. So you have to convince them otherwise. Probably not even convince, but show them. I was in a situation like that. When I wanted to venture into my business, my mother couldn't get it, you know. But I knew she wouldn't understand. The picture was in my mind, not in her mind.
Absolutely.
So the job was mine to show her.
Not hers to see immediately.
Yeah, I had to do the work to show her. So yeah, it's not going to be easy, but you have to show them.
But going through school, I mean, let me come to you, Angie. Going through school, did you always know that even after school, I want to be an entrepreneur? Or it's something that just came to fulfill a particular need for you?
For me, the cakes I make, it was just a hobby that I decided to just make money out of it. You get it? So it was just like, oh, this tastes good. Let me just put it out there and see if people will patronize me. And they did. And now I'm out there kind of. Yeah. And about the events, I just saw that, like, I wanted to have my birthday party. I think my 21st birthday party. And I'm like, I was just looking around, asking,
for vendors?
Yes, I want a luxury picnic kind of setup. Can I get someone to do it? And the prices were outrageous, because looking at myself, I was just like 22, 23. Where am I going to get such money to? Even if I'm to tell my parents and they will do it, they'll be like, this is outrageous for just a 22nd or 23rd birthday party. So I was like, look, I can just do this affordable for the youth. So put 2 and 2 together. We just do this, we just do that. Oh, you can bring your own food. Oh, you can do this. Yeah. So it was just about me, like making myself comfortable and using what I have around me. And I guess that other people also face the same challenges, because we kind of, let's say, compared price. I'm like, this is very outrageous. So let me just make mine a little lesser than theirs and see if we'll get the market for it. Yeah. And also there was something that Anthony said. He was like trying to find the problem. But even if I find a solution to the problems, do Ghanaians know that it's a problem they need to solve? Because sometimes you have the idea, but when you bring it out, they're all like, this is new to them. Right. How would they, like, what is this all about? Until 1 or 2 people patronize you and they're going to, oh, okay, this is actually making my life sort of easy. So sometimes the problem is that you've solved it, but Ghanaians are not embracing that they need this solution for such problems. Yeah. So that's
Jennifer, you are still in school.
Yeah.
What was it that you identified that made you start selling hair, or you just needed the funds?
No. So I've worked before.
Okay.
So whilst I was schooling, I was like, do I want to work for someone or I want to work for myself? I was confused. So I had to go and work. So after working, I came out, I'm like, okay, I know what I want. I think I want to own my own business. So that's how I started.
And how has it been?
Starting is not easy. I remember that there was one day when I started. I did a sale. I made adverts everywhere. You know,
in the school, on campus?
No, I was home at the time.
Okay.
So it was time for the sales end. I was home. I brought all the hairs I had outside. I placed on the table. I was playing gospel. Like, I was happy. I thought people would come because I'd seen Instagram posts of other vendors and people are in their shops and all that. So I was like, yeah, me too. I'm here now. The whole day I sat there, no one was coming. No one is even calling. Okay. And
that was the first year?
Yeah. Okay. So one lady called me that she wants to buy hair. And I was like, okay, where are you? She was like, oh, she's like, I'm like, oh, I can come and pick her at the junction. Because nobody's buying. And I need someone to come and buy. So she came and she bought one. So she was my first client. So I packed the things because it looks like nobody's even coming to buy. And I've posted nice hairs. So I said, okay, fine. Let me just close the sales. And in the evening, another lady called.
Did you rent a space for that?
No.
Okay, so you use the space at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, then let me close. And then I closed. Then the sales still continue, no one bought. But I'm one person that I don't give up. I always tell myself that I am my number one supporter. So even if nobody's buying and I'm wearing it, someone is seeing it. And it's surprising. People are watching.
Of course.
They are always watching. Maybe they've not purchased you yet, but they are looking at you. So a friend bought and this person bought, and then here we are today.
I'm sure you saw other people who were in business and obviously later gave up. What was the magic for you? Aside, okay, I don't want to give up, but I'm sure you are looking for money.
Yeah, of course. Everybody wants money. Yes. But starting the business, you're not going to get money upright like at that moment. Because people
is that what a lot of people think?
Yes, because you know, social media, you know, you watch me. I used to like follow people a lot. I hear this hair, I'm following, I'm looking at what they are doing. So in my mind, it has created a picture that, oh, if you are selling hair, this
obviously
is the life you can live. They are in their cars, they have their house. Me too, I want to be there. But it's not easy like that.
Reality check.
Yeah, it's not going to be, because when you hear their stories, you're like, oh, okay. So she's actually coming from A. So if you are at A, take your time. Just be patient.
You actually had one A, one B, one C before they even get to the 2.
Yes. So you are seeing everything they are posting is beautiful. They have a shop, and you think that, oh, you too, you've arrived. So no. It's not going to be easy. Starting is very difficult. To even find people to buy your product, to even trust you enough to want to like work with you. Because me, if you buy my hair and I see you wear it, I'm so excited. Like, hey, yes, I actually wearing maybe Hair Memories hair, and I'm so excited. So it's not going to be easy for you. For that is the truth. Find people to even purchase you. And I always say that my friends that I chose were very, very helpful, because the first person to buy my hair was my friend. So she bought it, they'll post me on WhatsApp, and it was on WhatsApp I started. I'm not so into social media, so this Instagram, this TikTok, you can find me there. Even if I'm there, there's nothing I'm posting. But when I was like, oh, what should I post? I want this, I want that. I got an Instagram page. And then, like that, small.
Now, let me come to you, Tony. She talks about never giving up. Was that your story as well? Did you just start by selling watches?
Yeah. I started by just buying a watch to use for myself. I didn't think of the watch business. For the first time in my life, I wanted to buy a watch in 2015. So I walked into a shop, and then the watch was 150 cedis back then. But I had only
How many
50
years
cedis.
ago?
2015. It's like
Okay,
7
so
years.
7 years now.
Roughly, yeah. I had 50 cedis on me, you know. And I couldn't afford the watch. So in my mind, I was like, why is a watch 150 cedis? So expensive. Common watch, 150 cedis. So I went back. I left the shop, went back into my room. Then I remembered seeing a watch on one of these social media platforms for 50 cedis. So I called a guy. He came and he delivered the watch to me. I just took a picture of it. I put a picture on my WhatsApp DP. There were no status by the time. A friend saw it and said, oh, nice watch. Are you selling it? And I said, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Then he just came and he bought the watch. So when he bought the watch, I made some profit on it.
Okay.
That was like a light bulb moment for me. I was like, wait, I just made profits off taking a picture, posting it. I didn't go out to do any manual work. I just made some profit. But if I did this twice, or 3 times, or 4 times, so I called a guy I bought the watch from. I took all the money, bought 2, sold the 2, bought 3, sold 3, bought 4. So that's how I got into watch selling generally in 2015.
So you were buying other brands to sell?
Yep. So I sold other brands.
For how long?
For about 4 years. So.
Were you working at the time? Were you schooling? What was it?
I had resigned from my job. I was working I was working at the airport. Okay. I used to be a marketing officer in the airport. Things went downhill. They sent me to the I was in a hotel, right, in the office as a marketer. Then they sent me to the airport. Very funny story. Sent me to the airport where I stand at the arrival hall with a placard with the hotel name on it, looking for, arriving guests to send to the hotel. My food in takeaway parks, I find car parks where cars are, I squat to eat. I was at the airport doing that. But the whole time I was there, I didn't feel like I belonged there. I think growing up, I knew myself very well, that I was very multi-talented. I could do a lot of things. So I'm like, nah, I can't have all these talents and be here.
What were the talents that you thought you had that you could utilize then?
I could do anything. This was my thing. My friends would always go like, you cry, what exactly is your talent? Because I could do anything. Once I put my mind to it and I start to practice, I become even better at it than people who have been doing it for long. So I could do anything.
So you're not the type of person that one can put you in a particular box and say,
no,
okay, he fits in this box.
No. Anything I find a passion for, I can do it.
And do you spontaneously change your mind?
That's something I had to work on. A lot of business people face that problem, especially people who are multi-talented. It's a gift and a curse at the same time. You could be overwhelmed with so many ideas that if you don't know how to slow down, you could end up collapsing. So I had to work on that and slow myself down. Yeah. So I was just, working at the airport. It was not enough. I'm like, nah, Charlie, I have plans of buying land one day, building one day. And I was making 500 cedis a month. Before the month even ended, I had borrowed money. So I was living in the negative balance for like 3 years or something. I'm like, nah. Something has to change. And nothing changes unless you change something. You get it? So I said, nah, the earlier the better. And I had a dream back then. I had a plan to be financially independent by 30. So as at that time, yeah. I'll end up mentioning my age, so let me just... so it was not enough, and then I just took the bold step one day, which is a very hard thing to do, to want to resign. And I didn't resign because I had another job.
You just left?
I just left because I had a plan, not a job. I had a plan, and I just left.
But what was the plan you had? I mean, a lot of young people go through school, or even come out and say, oh, I have a plan. I want to go into entrepreneurship. I want to start up this business. I have a plan.
The plan I had was not much of a plan, unfortunately. The only thing I came up with was that, okay, if I wake up every day to go to work, okay, and I make an amount of money that cannot even take me through the month. Before the month even ends, I had borrowed money. So I have that stress, that pressure of owing people. I'm working, but I'm owing people. I don't have time for myself. I wake up, be in traffic, get to work, come back tired. And then at the end of the month, I have no saving, nothing to show for it. And then if my friend decides not to work, and then he stays home by having his primary needs sorted, shelter and food, and he stays home and does nothing, end of the month, he's better off than me. That's how I saw it. So my plan was that, you know what, I'm going to cut down my needs to shelter and food.
Okay.
I had shelter. And food-wise, I told myself that, look, I don't think in this modern world I'll die of starvation. So let me just cut down my needs. I have shelter. I'll stay home. And I'm too multi-talented to end up having nothing to do. So that was my plan. So it was not much of a plan, but I just resigned. And
so you had something at the back of your mind that you really wanted to do?
No, after that time. Well, when I was in the hotel, I used to see people come and shoot commercials for the hotel. And then I watch the videos and I'm like, it's like slideshows, like very basic videos. And the hotel paid so much money. So I said, you know what? When I resigned, one thing I wanted to try out was video production, commercials for companies. I gathered some friends. Actually, you know what? This is the plan. Let's get somebody who has a camera. You and I, let's go and look for the business. We come back, sit down, let's design a concept. Camera guy, come, let's shoot. Let's present it to the company. From the beginning, we're not going to have any bargaining power. So let's do a couple of free ones. If they like it, they want to use it, they can pay us. Then we can use that to build our portfolio. That was the plan. Backfired big time. So yeah, I had a plan sort of, but it didn't work. But yeah, I just resigned, not because I had another job, but I just felt like I needed to.
Now let's look at this gentleman in the letter.
Yeah.
He says he needs a plan. How does he incorporate whatever he's probably envisaging into reality, Angie? He started something, it's not working. He wants a white-collar job he's not getting.
To me, one of the easiest ways to start a business is buying and selling. He can just go and buy something. For guys, for instance, I think shirt sells. Like, you should just know what's selling at the moment or what's trending. Just go and get it. As Anthony said, it was just one watch. He sold it, got some profits, went for another one too. Sold, got profits. So he can also start little by little. It doesn't really have to be big. Just find, sometimes the boys go like, I'm looking for a necktie. Goes like, I know where to get your necktie. He doesn't know, but he will go and look for a place to get him, at least get some 4 or 5 pictures, show it to your friend. I think this will work. Okay, I bought it for 30 cities, but give me, let's say, 40, because give and take, no big profits, but my transport and something small to buy water there, I must get it from it. Yeah, then the friend will go like, the last time I was looking for it, I went to so and so. And then another friend will come and go like, I need a shirt. I know where to get your shirt. So it's just basic buying and selling. You can just set up something. And then before you know it, words have gone out that, if you need something, let's say, clothes, accessory-wise, for guys, just go to this guy. And he has started something.
It's beautiful to the ear. But how easy is this? I mean, for a lot of people out there who will say, okay, then let me also try. How easy, realistically, how easy is it for any young man out there to say, okay, I got one shirt. How do you know if somebody will even buy that one shirt?
That is why I said you should know what is trending. Now, for ladies, for instance, I know that press-on nails is kind of new and trendy. Like you see them, it's nice. So if it was a lady and she thinks she can just go and learn something like that, she can just make nice designs. Maybe she can just do 5 just to test the market to see if people are interested. Just look for what nail designs are trending. Because like the coffin with the white thing, they are trendy. So just make 1 or 2 basic designs, sell it for cheaper than what's on the market. Just make some profits. Someone wears it, it's nice. Something, but you don't really need huge capital to start something. It's buying and selling. It mustn't really be something extra. Basic things can actually sell. Yeah.
Jennifer?
I don't think sometimes you even need money to start. When I was selling my clothes like this, I go to a car and I'll be like, hi, I sell. Can I take pictures of what you have? And I'll post on my WhatsApp. I don't have it all. So if you tell me you want it out, that day I'll wake up very early in the morning. I'll go to Accra and go and buy it for you. Simple. I've taken my money. I'm not losing anything. Because sometimes you put money into a business and you will not get anything. You lose everything. And when I was starting, I lost the first money I invested. So some people will be like, okay, I started this, I lost, so it's okay, I'm not trying again. So there are some businesses that you don't even need money to start. You can go to Apostle Coin, for instance. It's a place I really want to go. You go to these people there. Most of them, they have zero social media presence. And it's something we've not even looked at. You go, they take a picture of the car engine, something, post it. People are always on their phones. Okay, there's now someone selling car engines. Hi, where are you? I'm here, Apostle Coin. Just go and stand in front of the man. This. Talk to the man. The person will come to the shop. You are there. It's not your shop. The person buy, it's 120. Okay, the person will buy. Then the man will take 100, give you 20. You are working. You have to start from somewhere. Let's say you want to do a car business. You start small. You can't gather all maybe 10,000 and go and buy a car to start. You don't have it. So start from somewhere to arrive at the bigger picture.
Does everyone have entrepreneurial spirit?
Not everybody. Not everybody. Some people are forced to learn. For instance, me, when I was growing up, my mother would force you to go and sell. She used to bake cakes. We'll take you to class. But me, I love selling. So I remember there was one day I had a friend, she sells belts, and I think they take it to the market. I wanted to have that experience, so I left the house. So I'm going to do my assignment. I went to the market to sell because I just love to do. It's easy for me, but for my other sister, she doesn't like selling. Even if you give it to her, everything she will bring everything back home. My mother will be talking. I'll be like, okay, well, give it to me because I like doing it. But today she's selling. She never liked selling, but now she is forced to do something for herself because she realized that the way the system is going, if you don't do something, as a lady, if you don't do something for yourself, it will be hard. You need to do your hair. If you are renting a place, you have to pay, and you're waiting for someone, you'll be getting about 500 cedis. Everything will be for transport. You will not even get much from it.
Now, Tony, you talked about you are multi-talented. This young man in the letter says he doesn't think he has any talent at all. So all he wants to do is find a white-collar job and then get some salary that can keep him running. Is it very difficult to identify your talent? Because he doesn't think he has. Probably he does, but obviously he doesn't know he does.
Well, I think I'll be quite biased talking about talents because I can do anything. I would think it should be that easy for other people. It used to bother me a lot. One day my mom calmed me down that, look, you are different from other people, so stop expecting too much from them. Then I got to understand it. But what I think is that, even based on the question whether everybody can be an entrepreneur, sometimes you don't have to start a business. You can invest in a business and make money. You don't always have to put your hands into somebody's business. Maybe for what she does, I could have an interest that, do you need any expansion? Do you need any new product line? And usually people should look at how to provide value to already existing businesses, okay? Not to start your own. One guy came to our shop. It was like, Valentine is around the corner. So we've thought of a nice packaging for you. So he came with a box with ribbons and things and flowers on it. And we're like, that's really nice. I liked it. How much is one? He gave me the price. I of course, I always know where they get these things from. But I was so excited by his thinking that he's not coming to start a watch business, sell watches, but he saw what I was doing and just wanted to add value to what I was doing. So he's just tagging along. So I buy the boxes from him. My customers come and I show the box to them. This is the normal caveman box. But if you want like a bigger impression for a gift, how about you pay some extra for this box? So the customers will choose neatly packaged. They choose that extra box, and then his money is on it. So the customers buy, he takes his cut. He doesn't have to pay the light bill I'm paying. He doesn't bear any risk. You get it? But sometimes you don't have to.
Is it easy to identify that, okay, I can incorporate whatever I am doing into somebody else's existing business? How many young people out there know this?
No, unfortunately, not much. I'm glad that's why we have shows like this to talk about these things.
Yeah.
And then people should also know that mentorship, look, advice or direction you could get from mentorship, sometimes it's more than what you learn in school for 4 years. There are things I learned from mentors from a sit-down conversation that I never learned in business school for 4 years. So mentorship really did a lot for me. Find people, and then usually we talk to the wrong people all the time.
How do you listen?
We talk to the wrong people.
How do you know you're talking to the wrong person? You're a young person. You want to start a business. You are eager. How do you know you're talking to the wrong person?
I can identify who I'm talking to in the first few seconds. Then I decide what to tell you, what not to tell you, where to stop, whether to continue or not. Because one thing I do is that if you can try this out, okay? Typically, if you tell a typical Ghanaian about a business idea, I can bet that 98% of the time, the first question they would ask you would be the possibility of a failure. You can go out and try it and see. I want to start a car business. Are you sure people will buy the car?
Typical question.
Yeah, they always give it a negative question. That's how I identify people. And I can tell if you're on the same wavelength or not. You know, so yeah, I mean, when I was at the airport back then, I spoke to one guy who was doing the same job for a hotel. And I said, Charlie, how much do we make a month? Do you get to save any money? No, something has to change. Charlie, we have to live here. Look, this guy told me that, Charlie, I know job no day there, or let's just remain here like that. And I said, nah, for me, I'm an all or nothing guy. I can't settle for this. He was actively trying to convince me not to move. So yeah, I identified who my listener was. So I told him that, you know what, it's okay. Let's assume we never had this conversation. It's fine. I moved on. Like a couple of months back, when we put an employment notice out for a general manager, I got an application from him. Yeah, I got a message on WhatsApp and the person said, bro, I'm the best person for this position. Not because I know you, but... And I went to check the DP. When I saw it, I was cold, like, you know. So you should know who you are talking to. And most of the times, don't seek advice from people who haven't walked that path. We do that too many times. If I'm telling somebody that I want to sell cars, and she's giving me advice on how it could fail, but she hasn't sold cars before, what am I doing?
Exactly.
So we talk to the wrong people.
Often we confer with our age mates and our
who
peers.
don't have any experience in what we want to do. So
exactly.
There are people who give you advice based on ignorance. You could be talking to one of them. And what is more dangerous than somebody who is ignorant but confident?
Ignorantly confident. We take a break here. When we return, we'll look at the pros and cons of starting up. We'll be right back. Welcome back. This is Lifestyles here on GHOneTV. We want to talk about persevering when you're starting startups. My guests have shared with you a lot of their stories. This time I want to look at the pros and cons of starting a business. The show is proudly supported by Vaseline Cocoa. We say reveal your natural glow. Vodafone together we can. Dove Real Beauty from Real Care, and then Peck Milk Rich Biscuits. Now let's look at the pros and cons of starting up, especially as young people. There are a lot of young people out there who want to start a business. They are afraid. But for you, what was it for you when you started? The advantages. Is it that, okay, now I get to wear my own hair every now and then, I don't have to buy hair again? And then the disadvantages, of course, you don't have enough capital.
Yeah, for me, the advantage was that when I started and I had a few people buying, I was like, okay, I'm getting some money. But the thing is, when I started, I think I did clothing before the hair. I used to do the deliveries myself. So if you order, I'll go to Accra. I'll wake up around 4, go to Accra, go and buy the dress for you. Then let's say you're staying in Accra, so I'll have to pick a trotro to your end. So sometimes I'll be like, okay, so let me know the fare from my end to your place. Like, oh, it's 20 cedis, and I'll take it. So I'll pick a car. I'll leave. I was staying at Matayako. I'll leave there to car. So they'll be like, actually, when I wore the dress, it doesn't fit me well. And
after sitting in that bus from Matayako to Kaswa.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay. And sometimes you walk. They'll tell you, okay, I'm at Kaswa here, but when you get there,
so this was how. Let me understand. This was how many years ago? 5 years ago.
4.
4 years ago. So then the business of delivery service was not rife. So
it was there, but it wasn't so much. So, and I didn't even know anybody who does that. So I had to, and me, I was willing to do it myself. I was willing to work. So I would just be like, okay, you want it, I'll bring it to you myself. So sometimes I don't even eat. I don't have time. When I start working, I didn't have time for myself. I don't eat. I'll just go and deliver. And I had classes mostly in the evening. So I manage my time more that by the time I should return, it's time for class. So once I return, I just shower and go to the class. Sometimes
were you able to concentrate in class?
Yes. One thing about me is I always tell myself that we all have 24 hours and there is time for everything. Someone's parent is paying the fees. They are writing the same exams. It doesn't matter what I do. I still need to be able to learn. Because I think they will all graduate, we want to have good grades and all that. Even if you do business in school, still learn. Because education
But how easy was it
For me, it's easy for me because it's something that growing up, I just like it. People be like, but how do you do it? So someone's hobby might be doing this and that. My hobby is selling. I just love to do business. It's easy for me like that. So if I do A and it's not working.
So you used the hobby, likewise hair. So it was hobbies for you.
Yes.
And then you incorporated into business.
Yes. And I mean, when you're starting a business, do you know, when you're working for someone, you're knowing, okay, maybe you're working 5 to 9. But if you're doing it for yourself, it's just you. Nobody is going to do it for you. So you don't have a boss that, let's say you write something and you make a mistake. And
you don't have any KPIs.
Yeah, I'm going to show it to someone. Oh, please, is this correct? You make all the mistake yourself, you learn from it. And
KPIs, I mean.
You should be willing to invest in yourself. That is one thing I did, because I entered into a place I had just nothing to, I don't know anything about hair that much. Though I like it, but you know, hairs, they come with grades and stuff. But I had no knowledge. But I was willing to learn because.
So did you make mistakes when you started selling hair?
Yes, I ordered hair, and when the hair came, you know, I didn't know much about hair. So when I ordered the hair, I just saw the videos. I'm like, oh, this is nice. I like them. And then they brought it, and the hair was just coming off. So one person bought it. He's like, nah, please, I don't like this. Your hair is not. Like, oh my God. And I had invested a lot of money in that particular stock I got. So I was like, nah. And this one, who are you going to talk to? That, oh, I went to buy this, and you've already bought it. What can you do? You just have to let it go. So you make mistakes, but you should be willing to learn. You should be willing to invest in yourself. That's something that's what makes me different from someone in Accra. For them, they are just that they'll bring the hair to their shops, they are selling. But me, during COVID really helped me a lot because we were home. So I took advantage of that to work more. Because when I'm in school and working, it's like 50-50. But now there is no school, so hooray, I can do 100% of me. So I worked during the COVID, and that was my breakthrough for me. COVID helped me a lot. Some people, COVID came and their businesses went down because their shops were locked. Mine is online. I have it at home. You can come and pick up. So that's what helped me in the business. You just have to know that it's not going to be easy. But if you want to do something, you can achieve it. I know you are going to be your own boss. So it's going to be risky, but you have to try. Once it goes on and it's good, it just moves like magic.
Angie?
The pro for me was that there were smiles on people's faces anytime they buy from me. Like, oh, okay, the cake was nice, the person loved it, it was good. Like, those kind of words were encouraging to me. Because starting, I really didn't go and learn from somewhere. It was after a few orders before I decided to go and polish up. So getting such feedbacks from total strangers sometimes was like refreshing and like made me believe in myself that, oh, I'm not so good yet, but so far what I'm putting out there, people like it. And the cons were like, delivery. I had delivery issues because I was new in this cake business. I wasn't sure if I should use motor, if I should use cars. When they come and you quote prices for car deliveries, till this, they still say it's expensive, but they don't consider the fact that, one, it's a car. 2, petrol prices are increasing. And they'll usually want, oh, use motor to deliver for me. When your cake arrives and is in a bad shape, you call me to blast me, to say all sorts of things. No, I gave you 2 options, car and motor, and you went for the cheaper one.
I'm just picturing the client's reaction.
And I have to still make a new cake for you. And
you still had to?
Oh yeah, it's just about customers, and I still have to make a new cake for you. And sometimes to Ghanaians will send you Pinterest cake picture, Pinterest. They'll be like, these things, I can't get some in Ghana. Can I do a similar one? Then they go like, no. Then they'll take it elsewhere. And then you see a similar, sometimes I come across them, I'm like, this looks like the cake this lady sent to me. But it's similar. Like just like I suggested. But like, I don't know whether coming back again to say, okay, let's go back with your similar. They don't understand that some of the things here, some of the things they see on Pinterest and stuff like that, you don't get them in Ghana. You really don't get them. So you just do a variation of it. And then we don't really have a lot of cake decorative items here, like outside Ghana, because you can just, and even they are really expensive. And Ghanaians are expecting you to do the same thing they see on Pinterest for cheap. Let's say that cake will cost like 500 cedis, and they'll say, oh, I have 250. Oh, I have 150. And when you say no to them, they tend to be defense like, hey, you just started your business. And someone blatantly told me that, it was during lockdown. I was like, this lockdown, you've gotten someone to come and order cake, and you said 400, person said 350. I'm like, 350, you don't know, it's COVID. We are all on lockdown. You don't know I'm even getting what I'm going to get to decorate your cake for you. So you should also be understanding. She insulted me and said a whole lot of things about, I'm being unreasonable with my prices. I'm like, look, there are a lot of bakers out there. You could have as well gone there, but you came to me because, let's say, word of mouth. You've heard that my cakes are nice, they are yummy, blah, blah. So just be patient. It's all about communication. Say, oh, I don't have enough. What can I get for this price? Then maybe I'll be compassionate and go like, I can make what you want for this price. And like that.
When you started, did you get a lot of criticisms with regards to?
A lot. And I was doing free cakes to just get free. Like I can just see someone's birthday online. I'll just DM, oh, hello, I just started a cake business, so can I send you cake? Then they'll take a picture, put it there. Oh, this cake melted. Oh, I have to do this. It was just by learning, like, oh, okay, I did this. I could have as well done this. This will work out well. So I was just building on it. And I went for a class, and I just saw that, oh, okay, so this is what I was doing wrong. And then I just became firm. I just canceled motor deliveries. I'm not delivering on motors. It's strictly cars. When you come and you go like, it's expensive, I give you the option of Uber delivery. When the ride gets there, you pay. If it's more expensive, it's your own cup of tea. Because sometimes I remember there was this delivery to, I think, Sakumono, and I quoted my price, and the lady was like, it's too expensive. I was like, okay, so I can put it on Uber. When you get there, then you pay. And it was like 3 times higher than
that's your quotation.
Yes. And she came to me crying. I was like, madam, I gave you the option, and then that's what it was. So since then, she comes back to order, she goes like, please let your driver bring it to me. Because it's like my drivers, they work with me. So we kind of have an amount we take, fixed amount to take for place, which is like a little lesser than what an Uber driver would take. Yeah. So that's
Tony.
Yeah. I think first of all, people should know why they started business. A lot of times I hear the very wrong reasons why people start business. One of them that I hear is that I don't want to work 9 to 5, so I want to start my own business. Because you don't work 9 to 5, you work 24 hours if you're not sleeping. People talking about being their own boss. They think they get some freedom. You know, you're dodging pressure. Or when you get here, there's more pressure here. People also starting business because they think it's financial breakthrough. So the wrong reasons to start business are there. I think people should know that, to start for the right reasons. And then talking about the right reasons, people should also know there is a difference between running a business to make money and building a brand. They both require 2 different strategies and approach to achieve. So if you're starting, you should know your clear intention. Are you in there to make money? If yes, then you look at the strategies to implement to get that. Are you in here to build a brand? Look at how to do that. Because the 2 of them don't go together all the time. You get to a point where they will fall in sync, but usually they don't go together all the time. There are people with very big brands, but they don't have money. And they won't tell you, because they have to maintain a brand. They have to act like they have money. People run business and they have a lot of money, but they don't have a brand. So there are 2 different things. People should know what they want to do.
But for you, when you started Caveman, for instance, I mean, you were selling other brands. When you decided to go into your own brand, what was it for you? Okay, I want to build a brand, or Charlie, I need to survive.
Yeah. So I mean, the beginning, it was about survival. You know, when I resigned, I stayed home, playing video games, watching TV, thinking of what to do next. I tried out that commercial thing. It was not working. I didn't have a camera. So anytime we call the camera guy, that, oh, we have a concept, let's give it a try. Let's see how we can put a concept into a video. He has a wedding to shoot. He has a foot, you know, we're not getting anything. Then one time I saw some two guys playing guitar on the streets, and I said, "Oh, you guys are really good. Come, let's see what we can do with you." I get these guys; they are very good with the guitar. So I try and find somebody's birthday. Then this is what I was doing. If I know that, I go on Facebook and see upcoming birthdays. If I see your birthday approaching, I get into your page and find your friends. Then I contact your friends. Oh, your friend's birthday is coming. I have a great idea that would be really unique for her birthday as a surprise. Then I share the idea with her friends. They like the idea. We agree on an amount. They give me your name. I give the name to the musicians. They compose music. While you are at lunch or somewhere, they bring the guitars and cameras are out, and it was a great experience. I came up with this idea. We were performing for people on their birthdays. So the guys, I would usually charge like 150 cedis. There were two guys. I give 50 cedis to each of them. The taxi that will convey us would take about 35. I had like 15 or 10 cedis. But it was not about the money. I wanted to see the idea being fulfilled.
Yeah.
Then it got to a point where I wanted to brand them properly. I'm like, Charlie, let's buy a suit for you guys. Then they mentioned that they could get a suit for 50 cedis. I'm like, what kind of suit would you buy for 50 cedis? Well, I gave them 50 cedis. They went and brought some jackets that looked really good. I'm like, these suits are very nice for 50. Where did you get it? Show me. They took me there.
So you decided to go into suit
Then
business.
I started buying the suits myself. Because the guys, they started being very bad with timekeeping. You know, people's birthdays are like big things to them. And then we plan a birthday surprise and at 12 o'clock and it's 12:30 and you call and I call and, oh, I'm in a car, I'm in traffic. Like they were ruining people's days. So I stopped it. And they were becoming very demanding of other things. Like they didn't want to see the business side of what I was trying to push them to.
They're only looking for the finances.
They were looking at the fame. You know, to do the kind of music that will make them. I'm like, long story short, we cut it. So I was selling suits, buy from wherever, try to, you know, add some value, touches to it. It was not working. Then I wanted to, for the first time, buy a wristwatch, as I mentioned.
Yeah, you mentioned.
So the reason why I started was to survive. Because I just bought a watch and I made profit from it. I didn't have any money. I mean, during that time, the most money I would have in my mobile money would be about 20 cedis, 15 cedis. By the time it gets to like 5 cedis, my mom would give me 20 cedis. I was surviving like that. So at that point, it was how to make money to survive. And then started selling those watches. And me being me, I don't rest. It's one of my blessings and my curse. People could have a very good business and they'll be there for 10 years. When I find something good that works, I can't rest. I'm itching for the next level of it.
So the watches, you produce everything yourself, the strap, everything?
So this is what happened. From the beginning, I was selling watches, imported. There was a shop in front of my house. Just like she talked about taking pictures. I went to the guy's shop. I took pictures of his watches. I put the pictures on the internet. Somebody pays. I now use your money to buy the watch. The delivery guy would deliver. I would usually go and deliver myself and bring his money back. It got to a point where he started disappointing me. Somebody would pay for a product. I go, the product is not there. And I'm like, would you have it? If not, let me return the person's money. Then he tells me, I'll get it for you tomorrow morning. I keep the customer on hold. Following morning, he doesn't pick my calls. I was getting under pressure. The pressure is actually good. So I got under pressure and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to find where you get the watches from. So
I'll get back to that story right after this break. This is Live Still. So we take another break. We'll be back shortly. So if you're already an existing startup, that you're trekking, you're not walking yet, you're just trekking, so and so on. Or you're somebody that wants to do real business. You want to go into the business of entrepreneurship. I'm sure the show has helped you tonight. My guests will tell us what they do in order not to compromise on the services they render. Jennifer.
So, for now, I know more about the hair industry, and I know my client base a lot. So I know that if I'm buying something for students, I know what I'm going in for, what they can afford. If I'm buying something for, we have classes of people, so lower, middle, and upper. So if maybe you test me, oh, I have 2,500, I want this hair, I know, okay, this is the type of person you are. If I'm bringing you hair, I have to get you something that is very good. But then if you test me like, oh, I actually have 50 cedis and I want to get hair, I know what I'm giving you. But one thing about Ghanaians is that we don't read, and we're not willing to learn. So maybe I'll post this hair, and then it's there for, let's say, 500 cedis. And you have maybe 200 cedis, but you want something like mine. I can't give you the same thing. I have to give you something similar. So I might give you something similar, and I've written, okay, this hair is fiber, is this, is that. They won't read. They'll just be like, oh, hi, please, can I get this hair? After they buy it, oh, actually, I wanted human hair. What you gave me is actually not human hair. But it's actually stated there. Yeah. They don't read it. And there are days that I cried. There was one day I really cried. I was so sad. Because the things that the person told me, and I'll take you, and I'm an airway, and I'll take you here, I was scared. I started crying like...
I'm sure it's funny.
Where did that come from?
I started crying. I was like, I mean, because of one business, you want to kill me.
So at this point, what are the things you will not compromise on?
Quality.
So no matter what, if you want to buy my hair, it's quality. So this is
Yes.
the price. I
Yes.
mean, if you want it, that's it.
Yes.
Same for you, Angie?
Yes, same for me. I do butter cakes and oil cakes. Oil is relatively cheaper than butter. And now, like, everything is expensive. I'd rather go in for half and half. If it costs for, let's say, 200 grams of butter, why won't I do 100 butter and 100 oil just to save some extra cost? But I'm still keeping up with the quality of brands. I won't go and say, oh, let me just do all oil. Or, oh, this brand is lesser, or like is the cheapest on the market. Why don't I get that? That's compromising on your quality. I'm not in for like the quantity. Is, oh, this is premium, it's expensive.
But for events, what are the things you say that, listen, this I will not take? It's either we go this way so that your events becomes glamorous or not.
I won't take mediocre. Like, some people can just send you mediocre pictures and go like, I want this exact same thing. I'm like, look, I have a brand that I'm keeping here. I'm not going to do what you've sent me for a cheaper price. They go like, oh, you just put the pillow here, you just put this. It's okay, this picture has one flower vase and just 2 flowers. Do the same. I'm like, madam, we don't do that here. Or, oh, it's not just you don't even need all your pillows. Just bring 1 or 2. But it's my picture. It's someone else. I don't know who you are inviting for your party or your program. The person will come and say, go like, oh, this is very like low. I'm keeping up my brand here. I want another person to see it and go like, oh, this is pretty. I would also want to contact this person next time for an event. But Ghanaians, they go like, oh, this is the money I have, work with it. They don't understand the fact that you working with their money would make you run at a loss. So give me what I need so that we would all be happy. I'm giving you quality and I'm also getting something small for myself in the end.
Tony?
Yeah. Well, I think quality would always run through all the time. If you're building a brand and you know that you're not here for a short time, but you want to be here for generations especially, then you can't compromise on quality. I've had so many occasions where I had to turn money down, not because I had the money, but I wouldn't compromise on the quality. And people going like, why don't you make watches that are 50 cedis, 80 cedis, so that we can all buy? Watches can be made for 50 or for 80, but I know the materials required to make them. I know how long they would last, and I won't do it. Because even if I make the money now, and I know it will last you for 5 months, what happens to me in 5 months? So you would ruin my brand. So to be very stubborn, to focus on your why you started, what the brand stands for. The Caveman brand, one of the things behind it is that I want to have a product that can be passed down generations. I like that feeling of somebody saying that, oh, this watch was for my grandfather. You can have a grandfather watch, pass it down generations.
Okay.
And to have that, you can't compromise on quality.
Absolutely.
If not, it wouldn't even last for your lifetime before being passed down. So quality cannot be compromised. Attention to detail, perfection. The watch industry is very surgical. Watchmaking is surgical business, so attention to detail and that surgical accuracy, you can't compromise it. Yeah.
And so no matter the price, you must buy it I will not reduce my price for you.
Yeah, you should. It's better to have quality
That
at a price,
that will last you a long
and those
time.
who can afford it should buy it. You get these questions all the time, like, why won't he make it cheaper so that everybody can buy? One guy wrote down on my status,
And then you
my
told
comments.
the
It was
president
like,
that's
this
not for
watch,
everybody.
he said this watch is too expensive. Not everybody can buy. And like, that's what I say. It's not.
It's not meant for everybody. Thank
It's
you.
a brand you're trying to build. Like,
Absolutely.
not chasing money. So.
Anthony Mensah is the CEO of Caveman Watches. You can find them on Instagram, Caveman Watches. Angelina Adjoagri, happy birthday to you, Angie.
Thank you.
From all of us
birthday.
at Hill, say happy birthday, and GHOne say happy birthday to you. She's the owner of Sangin Craver Mosaic Events GH. She's also on Instagram as well. And then Jennifer Kusia Pia, founder and CEO of Hair Memories GH. You can also follow her on social media, Hair Memories GH. And thank you also for making time to watch us tonight. Thank you to the whole crew behind us. I get to sit here and do all the talking, but the real work is done behind the scenes. My name is Lily Mohammed. Good night.